I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Week 6 of the regular season, where the Jets pull off a downright miraculous and unbelievable win against the Philadelphia Eagles, the 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles. The Jets end up going on a little 2-game winning streak heading into the bye, and after starting the season 1-3, this is kind of a miracle. When you got to 2-3 last week, you think, all right, you know, we're going to get absolutely demolished by Philly next week, but 2-4, you can see a way out of that. You can see a way to crawl back to the playoff picture with the way the stretch looks after the bye. The fact that they were able to beat the Eagles today is absurd. And a lot of the things that you take away from this game if you're the Jets are things you kind of already knew, which I don't want to be cynical and say nothing changes from this game, because something does change. It's you understand who you can do it against. You can fluke your way into hanging with the Chiefs or the Eagles, right? These are two really good teams. People will say that the Eagles are not what they were last year, and I agree with that. But they are still an undeniable, really, really good team, an elite team in this league. Right? Top 5 or 6, maybe 7th at the worst. They're still a very good team. They were 5-0 coming into this game. You don't luck into that. And that brings me back to the Jets. You can luck your way into hanging out close in a game against the Chiefs or the Eagles. You can't luck your way into hanging tight with both of them and winning one of those games. And with the Chiefs one, I know I already said it, but, you know, some questionable calls kind of aided into that not being hang with. Side note, the Jets very easily could have been 5-1. Like, if they would have just gotten the call in that Chiefs game, or not gotten that call, and Randall Cobb actually caught that pass against the Patriots, they could be 5-1 right now. But we're just going to keep on trucking and keep on smiling, because at least they're 3-3. What you got from this game, you can hang with the best of them. Absolutely, you can hang with the best of them. This was a great game. And not just that, you can hang with the best of them when you're injured on defense. Missing DJ Reed. Couldn't think of it there for a second. Missing Sauce Gardner. Bryce Hall stepped up big today, and I thought he had a good game. Right? Tony Adams, obviously, massive game for him. Super crucial pick late in the game. The offensive problems that you have, you already knew you had. Nothing changes with that. It just changes to the degree of you were able to beat the Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl runner-up. And you still are, dare I say, not just terrible at play calling. Like, every once in a while, the Jets will have a drive where they open up the playbook. Because the play calling is different, and you can see that the play calling is different. They'll have one drive where they open the playbook, and Zach Wilson balls out. The running backs have space because they can't just crowd the box anymore, right? They'll have one drive a game where you're like, oh, yeah, they have possibility. And then as soon as it's over, back to their tiny little box of like 4 different Madden plays. It's somewhat infuriating because we see it on a weekly basis. There'll be a drive, sometimes multiple drives, where you're like, wow, they look like a football team. And then the play calling goes into a shell. I am once again politely begging you, maybe not even politely begging you, maybe threatening, maybe politely threatening is the right word I'm looking for, to roll out Zach Wilson more often and call more screens. More jet sweeps as well, right? Xavier Gibson looked great on that jet sweep. Call more jet sweeps, call more screens, roll Zach Wilson out more. This is not difficult. Those things work. Put the ball in the hands of your playmakers and Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, even though he almost cost you this game single-handedly, by the way, Xavier Gibson, Breece Hall. Force feed them the ball with a little bit of space. That's why I'm saying screen passes and jet sweeps. Roll Zach Wilson out. He looks unreal when he plays backyard football. When he just gets to kind of go out there and improvise it on the fly, I don't know what it is, but he just turns into prime Brady and Manning and Montana rolled up into one man. It's beautiful to watch happen in real time. This was, and you make the comeback in this game, this was an unbelievable afternoon for them. And there's a plethora, right, piles upon piles upon piles of positives you take from this game. there's so much. Garrett Wilson had some really nice catches in this game. Zach Wilson, again, when you actually open the playbook, really nice throws. The offensive line looked good at points and bad at points. Tippmann, you definitely need him to come back and be healthy because the offensive line just looks unreal with him there. And the defense, you knew a lot of those things. But I don't think I've given them enough credit. Quinnen Williams is a monster on the D-line. Jermaine Johnson, my God, if he was getting consistent playing time if he was on any other team and getting, right, he was the starter. He was out there for 65, 70, 80% of the plays. He'd be a Pro Bowler. Easily. Game-wrecking player, Jermaine Johnson. Unreal game today. Quincy Williams might be the best linebacker in the league. And C.J. Mosley is not the best linebacker, but is definitely a part of the best linebacker duo. They look fantastic. And beyond that, you can see that scheming is beginning to work a little bit better. You were missing Sauce and Reed in this game. You were missing one of debatably the best cornerback duo in the league, and you still held Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense to 14 points. With the tandem of Haynes, Bryce Hall, and Michael Carter. Those aren't bad players, by the way. I mean no disrespect to Michael Carter or Bryce Hall. That is a really, really good CB3 and a really, really good slot corner. When you're asking them to be CB1 and 2 against two really, really good receivers in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, that's a big ask, but it worked. They held their own. Yeah, they gave up some chunk plays here and there. The defense wasn't perfect, but they continue. And here's the thing. Consistency and sustainability is a really weird thing. Because you watch the way the Jets play defense, and you've watched it the past 2 years, where you think, wow, they give up a lot of plays that are not good. They make some things that are just simply, they do some things, and not, they make some things, they do some things that are not good. And yet, they have still consistently, game in and game out, held these offenses in check. And it's wild because you think, well, this isn't consistent. I don't think you can sustain that. We're almost 2 years into it since they've become an elite defense, and they're sustaining it. I think this is just kind of how they play. An insane bend-don't-break defense that if you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay for it desperately. Jalen Hurts threw 3 picks today. They were opportunistic. This defense is everything you love about a good, fun, exciting defense. And it was just such... In a game where it felt like every call went against them, you lose Tippmann, and I understand the Eagles lost a couple players too, and they were also very injured. But in a game where a lot went wrong for you, a lot went wrong for them, they still managed to hold out. They still managed to get a win against a very, very, very good Philadelphia Eagles team. And it's just... I've come to that conclusion that this is Jets football. It's never going to be easy games. It's never going to be what most people experience football to be. I've really come to peace with that today. That New York Jets football is stressful, it is horrifying, it is make you jitter at the table as you watch it, rocking back and forth viciously, and yet you just can't wait to be back. This game, it was horrifying. They have us in an abusive relationship, if we're being honest here, because, like, that game was just nerve-wracking and infuriating and ugly and a messy win. But that's another messy win. It's Jets football. They're never going to make it easy on us. And I've finally seen the light. And I think I've finally gotten to that other side where I'm enjoying it. Somehow I'm enjoying it. Stockholm Syndrome is real, folks. And refreshingly, a lot of stuff actually goes right for the Jets right now. Because you managed to go into the bye week with 2 really, really great wins. A nice statement win against the Broncos where, again, it wasn't the prettiest game, but you got to get revenge for your coordinator. The team got to be really excited and juiced up after that. You pulled this massive upset game against the Eagles going into the bye week, where the defense was just out of their minds and forced one of the best quarterbacks in the league to look lost the entire way through. And you head into a bye week where you get to rest. Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, who both were out for this game, get another week to rest. There's 14 days before they play again. Joe Tippmann, who goes down today with an injury, again, you really hope to God that's nothing serious, because he has been phenomenal on the offensive line. He gets time to rest. And they get to feel refreshed, rejuvenated, heading into week 8 when you play the Giants. So even that, you go on the road, but it's not really the road. It's still your house. It's just you go to the opposite side. Feels great to actually go into a bye week happy and not stewing on a bitter loss for 2 weeks, especially the way this game was going, because if they would have managed to lose this game, it would have been a miserable 2 weeks. But they feel good. So the Jets will come out of the bye in week 8. That'll be the 29th of October. We'll play a 1 o'clock game against the Giants, but until then, it's going to be a while before I talk about the Jets again. It's weird. But if you like me talking about New York stuff, I talk about the Rangers whenever they play, so you guys should definitely watch for that. And if you, for some reason, are a Jets fan and also like the Astros, hey, it's that. But as for right now, that's all I have to say. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Jets.